Hello friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Laura and this is my mom.
Hi, I'm Mary.
And she has been on all of the Disney cruises that we've been on, all 2 of them, plus more on other cruise lines. She's done about
13 cruises?
13. And only 2 of them are Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On 4 different cruise lines.
Yes.
I think.
So we thought it would be fun to kind of compare Disney Cruise Line with all of those other ones that she's been on.
We get asked all the time, why Disney Cruise Line? Like, why do you guys now like going on Disney Cruise Line? So we thought we'd talk about it.
A lot of I think the biggest reason people ask us why Disney now is the price point, because Disney is more expensive than a lot of the other cruise lines.
It is. It's inching its way up to more of a luxury cruise line.
Is it considered a luxury?
I don't think it's considered a luxury cruise. It's not a luxury cruise line, but it's kind of in between a mid and a luxury in my book. And it is more expensive. Like, we could totally get a cruise right now out of Newport Beach for a few $100s on a different cruise line.
And that's what we're here to talk about and kind of compare and contrast.
So let's go out of the gate with price and why we don't mind paying kind of a higher price range for a Disney cruise. So for Disney, we've only done the Disney Wonder. And another kind of disclaimer, we are only comparing our experiences and the experiences that we had on other cruise lines. So they're totally our experiences, and with mixed in a little bit of research that we've done, because we're doing a lot of cruising probably in the next 2 years.
We've only done the Disney Wonder so far. We've only done one Disney cruise pre-COVID and one this last one, which was during everything. So as you all know, things have changed a lot. So just also keep that in mind. A lot of the things that we have to compare and contrast is our pre-COVID cruise versus these others, because it's not really fair to compare what cruise lines are doing right now, because everything's just so different. So a lot of this is pre-COVID.
The biggest thing for me, the difference in the price, and I don't mind paying, is the lack of upsells. So my most recent cruise that I've been on besides Disney was Royal Caribbean. And from this minute I stepped on that ship, I was being upsold on everything, whether it's soda packages, drink packages. I even had to, you had to pay for the towels at the pool. You have to leave your room number and they charge you if you don't bring it back. So there's just upselling everywhere on that ship. And I also think the difference in pricing too is they're just not nickel and diming you. So a lot of times on the other cruise lines, do you remember being on them and just the hallways are full of merchandise trying to sell you $5 purses or $10 sweaters or, you know, chains of gold by the foot or whatever. You don't have that on Disney. They're not having that in your face, surprisingly enough, all the time, to sell you things.
And that kind of leads into what's included on a Disney cruise and versus what's included and not included on other cruise lines. One big thing on Disney is the dining. The way it works on Disney is a little bit different, I think, than it works on other cruise lines, where Disney, you have 3 dining rooms that you rotate each night, and your wait staff follows you each night. So you have those 3 different options for food. And then there's also cabanas, which is sometimes open for dinner. Cabanas, you can do lunch and breakfast for sure. And then there's also the quick service restaurants by the pools. And all of that is included.
And in all fairness, every other cruise line has a main dining room that you can eat every night. That's included. They also have a buffet. I think they all in different ways have their buffet, which is included. The difference is now in the last 10 years, many cruise lines have gone to specialty dining. So you have that one dining room you can go to or the buffet, and then you have all the specialty dining. Again, they're trying to upsell you on food. Not to say that Disney doesn't do that, because there is, on the ship that we were on, there is one restaurant, Palo, which we tried, and it was well worth it, but it's not in your face all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, just Royal Caribbean, I took, when I went with my niece, I took her to Johnny Rockets for a burger.
Yeah.
And that was an extra charge. So, you know, it's all those little restaurants that they're now charging extra for that you don't have in your face in Disney.
So yes, up front, those other cruise lines are cheaper, but when you get off the ship, what is your onboard credit?
Yeah.
Compared to Disney's onboard credit.
So that's the thing. You're paying up front for Disney, right? So you don't pay for soda, or you do on other cruise lines. You don't pay for a lot of other specialty drinks, right? But the thing we as a family noticed more recently is our alcohol bill.
I just wrote alcohol.
Alcohol bill is a lot cheaper on Disney. Let me give you an example of the drink costs on Disney. Just from our cruise last month, the drink of the day was $5 and change. Cameron, first day, he ordered a Long Island iced tea, and I was super curious to see what that was going to cost, and it was $7 and like 50 cents. The most expensive drinks we got on board were our martinis in the evening. So Laura got a specialty one, so that was like $7. But Scott, Cameron, and I all got our special martinis, and they were $12-ish, right around there, which is what you pay normally.
On land, yeah.
So it's very common for us to pay twice as much for the alcohol, because Scott and I will drink a martini or drink another drink, and we could pay twice what we pay on Disney for the alcohol. So that's a huge difference in our adult-only family cruise experience.
Yes, we are.
Because that is a big chunk of our onboard expenses. Internet is not included, so when you
on either.
And it really, when the packages are pretty comparable for crummy internet, but Disney does give you a little bit for free,
like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a little bit for free, but they were pretty comparable when we bought a package on Royal and Disney. It was pretty comparable. With that being said, the more luxury lines are now including internet in their price, and I think Disney needs to step it up and include internet. I think they will. I think at some point they will, to be honest with you. I think they're going to have to keep up with everybody else and start including it, and more folks are including it. So
the thing is, one of the main reasons a lot of people cruise is to not have that internet. I mean, some people want it and some people need it for whatever reason. So it may take a little bit longer for ships to get good internet, because I think that's why Cameron and I cruise, is to get off the grid.
What we're going to talk about next and all the other features on the ship really go back and tie back to the prices and why we pay more for a Disney cruise. It's all the other things that we want to talk about as well.
Yep. Next, we want to kind of compare staterooms. From what I remember from the Disney versus the ones that we've been on, there's not too big of a difference. So from my perspective, we do a lot of inside rooms. This veranda was the last one that we did, and I feel like the biggest difference is probably not in the inside rooms, but in the veranda rooms. And I've done some research, and the veranda rooms on a Disney cruise ship compared to some of the others that we've done are a little bit bigger. Yeah.
I'm not going to get you in an inside stateroom again, am I?
I don't know. It just depends.
It depends. I think if we do a 3 or 4 day cruise again, we definitely do an inside cabin again.
Yeah.
We were all about the inside cabins because it's about 160 to 180 square feet for an inside cabin. That's
Disney, or for both, all of them?
Both. Disney does have some larger inside cabins. That's because of their bathrooms, which I'm sure we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So they do have a little bit larger ones, but you're looking at anywhere from $214 to $260 something for a veranda, and that includes the veranda Our next sailing that is on hold, we've both chosen extended verandas
balconies, yeah.
because we like that extra space for a longer cruise.
Yeah.
We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah, and I'm sure as we talk about that next cruise and stuff, we'll get into staterooms and all that stuff. So, but I think overall staterooms are pretty comparable.
You know what Disney has, I have found on their staterooms, is a little bit more storage, a little bit more drawers and storage than I have seen on other ships. Just my experience from the other ships. But it seems like they have a little bit more storage, and maybe their closets are a little bit bigger.
And of course there is the Disney touch within the Disney staterooms. Of course, you get the art and the little Mickeys everywhere. It's not in your face. None of the Disney cruise lines are in your face Disney, at least to us, compared to like the parks and stuff.
Not the current ones.
Well, we're not. We've never been on Wish, so no. Though Disney Wonder, I should say.
We have our opinions.
Yeah, the Disney Wonder is not in your face.
I think the biggest difference in the staterooms is the bathrooms, right?
Yeah.
So you get into the great majority of the bathrooms on a Disney cruise line in the staterooms are the split bathrooms. We hadn't seen that before. So there are a standard inside stateroom, which we had on our first Disney cruise, which does not have a split bathroom. But the great majority of the staterooms have the split bathroom. So you have a sink with the toilet area and a separate bathroom with the sink and the shower and tub combination. So I think that's the biggest difference in the staterooms.
Yeah. So from staterooms, we're going to go to kind of general upkeep on the ship in the staterooms. I remember when we got off of the Disney Wonder, off the first one, you had mentioned how clean and there weren't like cracks or missing paint or.
And this was pre-COVID. You know how I think about it and kind of equate it is the parks.
Yeah.
You compare a Disney park to another amusement park, you're going to see a little bit better upkeep. Cleanliness in some areas, and that's how I think the ships, they kind of translates the same.
Yeah,
is the upkeep. It seems like they're always working. I remember on the first Disney cruise on the 4th deck doing our laps and trying to get some miles in. It smelled like paint because they were painting all the time, and I just think it's just kind of more. It's kept neater. I don't know.
Yeah.
In all fairness, we've been on some party ships.
Yeah.
And those cruise lines. And you know what? They are well used.
Yeah, we'll say that. It's fun, but it's well used. Well used for sure. Next is the food. And we all love cruise food. Well, I don't know. I've always loved cruise food.
We love food.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we love food. I've always, for some reason, always thought that cruise food was like higher level than other food. And then I hear like people are like, oh yeah, cruise food, whatever. But I don't know. I've always, maybe it's just because I always remember the desserts, like the lava cake and stuff like that. Of course, Disney is Disney food, which is good.
Yeah, I have to say, there's different levels of food from different cruise lines. You get some of the more economic cruise lines and you have food accordingly, right? And there's some cruise lines, which we haven't even been on, that we look at the review of the food. And to be honest, Scott and I have said, that cruise line is actually off our list. You can get a very economical cruise from it, but we want kind of a better experience with food. So it's important to us. There is a amazing difference in the food, I think, in Disney. And I think it's too because they theme it. And I'm not saying other cruise lines don't. They'll have an Italian night or a French night or whatever. Disney, because you rotate to 3 different restaurants, you're rotating through 3 different experiences. And I think that might influence us as well, right? So we love to go to Tiana's place and have the beignets that we know we're going to get. And it's amazing. And
Truffle
we love
pasta, Animator's Palette.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely the escargot, which I'll be honest, I've probably had escargot on every single cruise I've been on.
And it's all the same? Garlic and butter.
It's garlic and butter.
Yeah, you can't really go wrong with garlic and butter.
Yeah. The food is good. You know where it shines more, in my opinion, is in the pool area. Right? So you go on other cruise lines where you don't have the free food that you have. There's 3 different areas, I think, in the pool area to get on the Wonder. There's Daisy's, there's Pinocchio's, and there's the shawarma place.
Yeah, and then next to the shawarma is
a grill.
Yeah, a grill, obviously. Yeah.
So there's more places to get the food that's included, and I think that kind of food is better on Disney, right?
Okay.
Like the chicken nuggets.
I love a good chicken nugget.
Yeah, the chicken nuggets are good. The pizza's good pizza.
Yeah.
We've had some crummy pizza on cruise lines.
Yeah.
I think that is kind of better. That level of food is kind of better on Disney.
And the bratwurst. Cameron loves the bratwurst.
I guess that shawarma stuff is pretty good too.
I didn't get any last time.
You know what?
But
we did not get a self-serve last time.
I know, I only got one.
I know.
So
we're very disappointed in ourselves.
And I feel like kind of going with the food. Oh, go ahead.
Back to the food. I don't think every cruise line has room service 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Included. And I think that, again, going back to that price, and we pay for Disney for things like that, right? And that's why we come off our Disney cruise with a lot smaller onboard spending account than we do on other cruise lines. Yeah. So yeah, you're paying for it up front, but I'd rather do that than have kind of a surprise bill at the end. Yeah. So the room service, and it's pretty dang good room service too.
It's the same quality as like the pool.
It is.
A lot of the menu is like the same as what's over by the pool.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is included. You can get things that kind of just we are super familiar with, like warm chocolate chip cookies whenever you want them.
A cheese plate.
A cheese plate.
Yep. Did you ever get the cheese plate?
We got a cheese plate.
Good.
The other thing around food that's a little bit different, every cruise line has a different allowance. I'm going to tack on alcohol here as well. Disney allows you to bring on 2 bottles of wine or a 6-pack of beer per person, which is more generous than other cruise lines. So our first Disney cruise, we take out of San Diego, and I made all 4 of us put in 2 bottles of wine because I was used to other cruise lines.
Yeah. We were like, we weren't smuggling it on, but we were like, we need to get this wine on land because once we get on the ship, it's going to be double the price. So we all took on all this wine that we brought off because it was cheaper to buy the wine on the ship. Or about the same.
It was about the same. I guess so. They do charge for a corkage fee if you open the wine in the restaurant. You can open it in your room or out on a deck, all you want. But if you open it in dinner, and that was our intention, is to take a bottle of 1 or 2 to share as a family at dinner. And we got on, and Scott's like, we could get a bottle of wine for $30 for the 4 of us. Yeah, I think room service and that kind of stuff, the food is it's all included, and it's great.
Yeah. I think what also kind of goes along with food is the service. And like I mentioned earlier, is you have those 3, for dinner, you have those 3 dining rooms, and you have your own wait staff. You have your waiter and your assistant waiter, I think. Yeah, a waiter and assistant waiter.
And head waiter.
And a head waiter, that follow you each night. And from what I remember, other cruise lines is you do have the same wait staff throughout.
You do.
Also.
You do.
That's similar.
Right.
And I feel like Cameron and I always fall in love with our wait staff. They're especially on Disney. On our first cruise, Cameron and I ordered Coke Zero for dinner to drink, and the first night we'd finish our glass, and of course by the time it was almost done they came by with another one. But then the next night we got to our table and they just handed us our Coke Zeros because they knew that's what we wanted. So they anticipated our needs, and working at Disney, I know that's something that you train for, is anticipating those needs. But I also feel like other cruise lines are similar in...
Very much so. I think every cruise I've been on, they know your name by the second meal and usually what you're going to drink by the second meal. But I think where Disney really shines in service is in the other areas, right? And your stateroom steward is probably about the same service, although maybe a little bit more, but it's the service we got outside that just is so amazing. Just sitting out by the pool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were out there on a windy day, and we had a guy meet us the first day, find out a little bit about Scott and I, and he just remembered us the whole cruise. And he knew exactly what we wanted out there by the pool. He
Brought
made sure we
blankets.
had, he brought blankets every time we went out. He had been on that cruise ship for 10 years. And there's a reason why he'd been on there for 10 years. He just did amazing service. He wasn't serving us alcohol. He made sure others came and did that, or any drinks, but he brought us blankets, made sure we had enough towels. He made sure, if we wanted anything to eat, we got taken care of. It's just that level service. It's like having a concierge there by the pool to help with your every need. He was amazing. The staff at the Cove Cafe, they are just superb and would do any little thing that we needed. It's just in those outside areas is really where Disney shines with their service. In the guest service line, we've experienced a lot of less than friendly staff on cruise ships, not on Disney. I'm sure they're there, but we just haven't experienced them. And it's in those pockets of areas where you least expect it that I think Disney shines.
Okay, so next is entertainment. And I feel like this is probably one of the more unfair categories that we have, because Disney, we all know Disney entertainment, and we all know Disney's wonderful. They have their Broadway style shows. We saw Frozen and Dreams, and those shows are beautiful and wonderful. The talent is amazing. It's Broadway level, I think.
The sets are amazing. The costumes are amazing. The talent, everything is top notch.
So I don't know how fair it is to kind of compare those with other cruise lines. You've seen more of like the variety shows on Disney. Cameron, I don't think we went to the variety show.
Yeah, they had a comedian. We saw a comedian on the first one.
We saw his adult show. We didn't see him on the main stage.
Right. Well, here's the deal. So Disney's shows, like their main attraction shows, are just top notch. Where the other cruise lines are good, of course they're going to have good singers and dancers, but they don't have the level of I guess this isn't fair either, because it's the storyline that's different that warms our heart, right? So it's something we're familiar with, something we happen to love. So it's not fair, but so they don't have those storylines, but it's cheesier.
Yeah.
I think other cruise lines have a little bit more of the one-off entertainment throughout the ship that Disney doesn't have as much as. So their entertainment's in the big shows. They have amazing staff in their activities, which we'll get to activities, but we've been on some cruise lines that have really good piano players that you sing along with, that are just, we'll spend an entire night singing.
Like dueling pianos were there?
Dueling pianos. I don't know that we've seen dueling pianos, maybe on one cruise line.
I feel like our New Orleans one, there was dueling pianos.
There could have been,
I think there was.
And on that particular one, we went out of New Orleans, and it was just a very music-centric cruise.
Live bands, which Disney doesn't really have. I mean, they have the piano players. The piano player on our last cruise, she was wonderful.
Amazing.
She was amazing. But it was just kind of like a sit down and listen while you're drinking your drinks at the bar. But what we kind of miss is, like you say, the like sing along and like have a beer and
dancing.
The more casual dancing.
Going into a nightclub and dancing. You don't have that kind of music entertainment on Disney that you would have on other cruise lines. So, yeah.
So next is the I feel like kind of fits also in with the entertainment are the onboard activities. So that's your trivia, which I think both cruise lines have trivia, or is it just a Disney thing?
No, other cruise lines have trivia as well. It's not Disney trivia.
Well, yeah.
But they do have trivia. They have games. I think Disney's just more around like arts too, because they're geared more towards family activities. So you have the origami, you have the animation. You can go and learn how to draw an animation. But definitely I think every cruise line has bingo. They all charge for it. of course. But there's activities, there's tours on board. There are some upcharges on some of the activities we've done before as well. Disney, at least the Wonder that we've been on, doesn't have the extreme activities.
Right, like Royal Caribbean has like the rock walls and the flow rider, and which are all really cool activities, but they are extra costs.
They are. And we checked before we did this video just to make sure. And there's packages for a flow rider that you can purchase, how many rides that you want to do. So you don't have that pressure of that sale in the activities on the Disney cruise ship.
Although those activities aren't on, like big activities like that aren't on the Disney cruise.
No, but they may be on the bigger ships that we haven't been on yet.
That's true. On the Wonder. They're not on the Wonder.
Right. But a lot of the activities are similar activities you'll see. I think Disney's, again, are geared more towards family, definitely more towards Disney theming, which is great, which we love. That's why we go on a Disney cruise.
And what Disney does not have, though, is a casino.
True. So if that is important to you in your cruising, know that you're not going to have it on a Disney cruise, which we have enjoyed a good casino on a cruise before.
Cameron loves it because he wins, but
yeah,
he's got Poppy's luck. He's
a
winner in the casino, so he enjoys it. But
the New Orleans cruise, I remember first night, I think he hit.
Yeah, he got all sevens on whatever.
Whatever. He paid for his cruise the first night.
Yeah.
A couple areas that I think are pretty similar are spas. So I've probably been on just about every spa in every cruise line, and they're pretty much the same. And they all do try to sell you a nice product. It's what they're there for.
That's what they do.
And I also think shore excursions, we'd even put that on our list because a lot of times they're just the same on every cruise line. It seems like pretty much, unless you get a luxury cruise line, which we are exploring, where there is an included.
It's included.
Yeah, included.
A lot of the excursions, though, or port adventures, as Disney calls it, aren't through the cruise line. It's whoever's on, like our harbor cruise, and one, it was a company that, like a travel company in Cabo that put the excursion together for Disney.
But you purchased it through Disney.
Yeah.
And you actually had to stay on that one if you had kids to stay in the bubble. So
yeah. And so I think the prices are probably similar on Disney versus others, because the prices aren't necessarily coming from the cruise line, they're coming from the ports.
So they're pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And similar activities as well.
Yeah. And the spas are pretty similar. Disney does have a great kind of, what's the area with the rain rooms that you can use. You can get day uses, but others have solariums and they have day uses.
And then something, of course, that's different with Disney within the onboard activities / maybe it's entertainment are the character meet and greets.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing if you're looking at going on a Disney cruise, is to understand that that is part of it, right? That's a kind of free or included part in the cruise, is the meet and greets. Anybody else would charge you for those kind of activities, but it is included. You do have to sign up for them sometimes. Post-COVID, we didn't. They were walking all over the ship. It was actually really incredible.
The princesses, there was like a princess meet and greet that you signed up for ahead of time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, compared to the parks, the lines for these characters are much shorter. So if that is something you are interested in doing, if you have kids or not, to meet these characters, the lines will be much shorter on a Disney cruise than they are in the park. And that is not necessarily something that's fair to compare to other cruise lines because it's Disney, but that is just an extra bonus.
One thing I think that we need to address is for adults going on a Disney cruise. We get that all the time. Of course, we're Disney lovers. We're Disney fans. We always have been. We love the service. We love just what Disney brings to us as a family. But we also love the fact that we can separate from children on a Disney cruise.
And I will say, when we booked our first one, I was like, why? I mean, the exact reason that we're making this video. I was like, why are we going on a Disney cruise? We can go on whatever cruise line for much cheaper, and there won't be kids running around. And I was surprised.
Screaming.
When we got on that
crying.
Disney ship, Yeah, that it was not that.
No, it's
at
not.
all.
And Disney creates specific areas for adults that other cruise lines do not offer. Like, you know, even on Royal's Solarium, it's 16 and older, where really the adult areas on a Disney cruise are 21 and older. So you have your own pool area to yourself. Other cruise lines may have that as well, but what we liked from our experiences from previous cruises is that it's a coffee shop, bars, which of course kids shouldn't be in bars, the pool area and eating areas. It's a whole part of the ship that is just for adults, and it's amazing.
We would often get our food poolside at the family pool because that's where the food is.
Yeah.
And then just bring it over to the adult pool. And even outside of those areas, though, I have never felt like there are just kids running and screaming everywhere.
Disney's pretty, I don't want to say the word strict, but they're pretty, make it very clear this area is for 21 and older. And the families really abide by it. Nobody, there's no kids in these areas. And even outside of that deck, you have the Azure.
I don't know how to say it.
Azure.
A-Z-U-R-E.
You have adult areas even on the lower decks, where it's just adult areas, and you have the kids areas, in all fairness, that adults aren't allowed in. So it's awesome.
But even like walking around, not in the adult or the kids areas, just walking around the ship in general, I don't feel like there's just children everywhere. You know what I mean?
Well, and when we really think about dinner, we always do the second dinner.
Yes.
So we do, which is a late seating.
It's 8:05.
Like, I'm on the verge of that, kind of like senior citizen. I think I might have to go to the earlier dinner, but it's at 8:05. So we rarely have kids at our seating. And if they do, sometimes they're asleep.
Yeah.
But so that's another way that we are not around.
Not that we don't want to be around kids. It's just...
We want to be around kids.
Yeah, okay. But what I'm saying, I feel like when people think Disney Cruise Line, they think just children everywhere. And it's not. That's what I thought.
I agree.
That's what I thought.
Completely agree. Yep.
And people think it's geared towards children. And it's not.
No, it's really not. It's really not. And I think the thing that a Disney cruise does that other cruise lines don't do is brings together people who already have a common interest.
Yeah. That's true.
And I think that's huge.
On that note, that is all. Thank you for watching. If you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments below, and she'll see them most likely. The expert on the other ships that I don't remember. Leave them down in the comments below and we will try to get them answered.
And if you have any recommendations on a luxury line, we're actually exploring that.
Yeah.
I'm exploring that to see if we can do something. We would love to do it in Europe. So I think that's going to be within the next couple of years, something that we do. But if you have any recommendations on a luxury cruise line, we'd love to see it.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
How many cruises have you been on? 5, 6? You have a gray hair.
I know. It's huge.
Well, you have more than one.
Yeah, I know. So let's get into it. Intro.
Where are you looking?
You look in here. I always look at myself in here. But
I know. You want me to do that?
I guess. Oh, man. See? Now you know how long it takes for me to do these intros. Look in here. Okay. All right. I don't remember how I start now.